Hey everyone, this is Walter and I'm back here with more Predator content. These videos have been fairly popular, so let's keep going with it. Jesse Velez is hilarious. His chat log is horrible, but pretty much every line he says is meme-worthy. And who could forget the classic Jurassic Park shirt and bright orange shorts? Anyway, let's get started with the humiliation of Jesse Velez. Bruh, dude asked for an ID to make sure he was underage, and Chris Hansen saying ooh is right, LMAO. Of course, there's another thing to laugh about here, the Methuselah decoy. Apparently they couldn't get a decoy on that day, and had to use one of the police's interns, who was not remotely believable as a 13-year-old. Charles Lawrence didn't give a shit somehow, but Jesse Velez immediately noticed he'd been catfished. Jesse was one of the most hilarious predators, but no one talks about him because of the decoy. We've hired Clint Eastwood to play the 13-year-old. I regret to inform you that the decoy in this video passed away peacefully in his sleep last night at the age of 96. He leaves behind 3 children, 7 grandchildren, and 14 great-grandchildren. That decoy is so old, Chris Hansen walked in and asked both of them to have a seat. Our decoy is a 32-year-old construction worker, playing a 19-year-old failing acting student, who is playing a 13-year-old boy. Of course, the jokes about this guy are all in good fun, not so much with our creep of the day, Jesse Velez. This guy was a real sick fuck, even if he appears goofy on the show. He literally told a 12-year-old he wanted to eat his ass and fuck him hard and deep, and also basically wanted to kidnap him. Yeah, I would like to make it clear that even though he doesn't seem threatening, he probably might be to an actual 13-year-old. This decoy probably would have kicked his ass though. The following is from the TCAP wiki. Shortly after creating a decoy account on Grindr, in September 2015, Velez, who was engaged at the time, reached out to someone he believed to be a 12-year-old boy named Jason, who said he would be turning 13 later that month. Shockingly, within minutes of their conversation, Velez asked the supposed child if he had any explicit photos and proposed a meeting. He went on to express his desire to engage in oral and anal sexual activities with the young boy. Disturbingly, Velez even offered to pick up the child from his middle school and drive him home, with the condition that the boy would perform oral sex on him while he was driving. When the decoy mentioned having strict parents, Velez suggested that the child live with him instead. In response to concerns about explaining the situation, Velez stated he would lie and claim they wouldn't engage in any sexual activities. To escalate the situation further, Velez sent an explicit photo of his genitals and requested the same from the decoy. As their conversation continued, Velez persistently insisted on meeting at his place to chill. Eventually, the decoy provided Velez with an address to the Sting House in Fairfield, Connecticut. Wow, I don't even know if I knew all that. I've never actually read this chat log, but it sounds up there with the worst of them. Jesse Velez new RSO photo. Still has the shit-eating smirk. This is from 2 years ago. The Sting was actually in 2016, so it's been a while. Not a photogenic person, believe it or not. Nothing photogenic to that nature. I didn't even know I took that mugshot. Ew. Ew is right. Out and about town, driving in your car, renewing your RSO photo. Oops, my mistake, the RSO pic. He looks like a PS2 character. And look at this, we've also got Jesse Velez from 1999 when he was a child. Oh, he's the same age as me, so he must have been like 12. The age he ended up trying to prey on. Is it just me, or does he actually kind of resemble the me, my mommy, and my daddy decoy? That's why he was so uneasy in the house. He thought he was being visited by his past self. That's also why he asked for his ID. It's actually sad to think that in 1999 he was just some innocent teenager himself, and now he's been exposed for attempting to meet a minor. That bloated predator really thought he was going home after all that. Thanks for this experience. It was nice meeting you. I sure learned my lesson. Yeah, what did you think? This was Vitaly? That some douchebag from YouTube was just gonna punch him and then he gets to go home? Thankfully not. The only reason the decoy got this role was because he and Chris were childhood friends. He was like a big brother to Chris. Okay, so his interactions with the on-site decoy are perhaps some of the most awkward in the entire series, and pretty much overshadow how gross the predator is. Velez arrived at the designated Sting House, and instead of encountering an actual child, he was greeted by a male decoy who appeared to be a grown man instead of a teenage boy. Upon entering the house, Velez immediately noticed that the decoy's appearance differed from the pictures exchanged online. Velez's behavior seemed awkward and suspicious as he claimed it was his first time meeting someone from the internet. Curious about the decoy's age, Velez inquired, to which the decoy responded that he was 13, though Velez expressed skepticism about his appearance. Employing unconvincing acting skills, the decoy retorted, "That's what they all say." As they engaged in conversation, Velez asked the decoy if he had an ID, to which the decoy replied that he didn't have his ID on him, and that his mommy kept it in her purse. When Velez inquired about the residents of the house, the decoy delivered a poorly crafted response stating, "Who lives here? I live here. Me, my mommy, and my daddy." Sensing Velez's growing suspicions as he looked around, the decoy attempted to divert his attention by suggesting he take a look at a table, claiming his daddy made it. Suddenly, Chris Hansen made his entrance, causing the decoy to promptly exit the room. "Yeah, me, my mommy, and my daddy" is an extremely popular catchphrase with TCAP fans. It's pretty hard to listen to the interaction, even to this day. Why I think Jesse Velez is such a nasty and pathetic excuse for a human. Apologies in advance that this is a bit of a rant post. Work has been busy yesterday, so maybe I'm stressed and need to rant. All the predators are awful people, but I often think Jesse is one of the worst. He gets posted a lot, deservedly, and whenever I see his face I can feel my fists clenching up. I think he's selfish and entitled. He's a fat bastard who by the look of things makes absolutely zero effort to improve his appearance. He turned up to the Sting house in those stupid orange shorts and t-shirt that showed his fat belly, and just expected the boy he was chatting to take him as he was. His chat is gross. And that Facebook apology, which wasn't an apology at all. He didn't say sorry, he just said the people who made fun of him were unfair. Well, that's bullshit, mate. You deserve everything you get. I do personally think that Jesse's outfit is probably among the most iconic TCAP outfits, with people like Thomas Coffin who showed up shirtless in a red vest and cowboy hat, looking for work at 11 p.m. Or generic white male's generic white grandpa outfit. Chris had so many quotes to choose from, yet he only went with the dick pics. SMH. He's also one of the worst liars on the show. Him saying he didn't know he sent a dick pic, and telling the minor he wanted to lick his ass. Like, what the fuck? I can't talk about Velez without bringing up me, my mommy, and my daddy. That's what's unique about Jesse Velez's sting. Not only is the predator a very sick and disgusting individual, but the decoy's acting is awkward, cringe, awful, and looks nothing like what a 13-year-old would look like. Me, my mommy, and my daddy. Hey, come over here and check out this table my dad made me. Pretty cool, huh? He shows up looking like he's going to a theme park. Most guys show up looking like they just finished a long day of yard work. More like he was the theme park, and you had to be under a certain height to go on the ride. I want to get off of Mr. Velez's wild ride. Well, let's have a look at this supposed apology. I hear it's not very sincere and makes himself the victim. Jesse Velez, Facebook apology transcript. Found this. It's from a screenshot of his Facebook before it was privated. Paragraph breaks added for your eyes. I don't know why life happens the way it does. I know I've done some stupid shit, and I'm paying for it big time. I don't want my friends to judge me in any way, but people can't understand I'm human, and I screwed up, and I'm not that person I'm being portrayed to be. This really bothers me a lot to the point where I wonder, why am I still alive? I lost some great friends and family members because of the poor choice I made. This sucks more than anything in the world. It's like walking through the mall and everyone just stares at you calling you names. That's how I feel sometimes. I feel like I failed myself sometimes, but I gotta try to keep it together, because life still goes on. I wake up every day, wondering every day what will happen to me, and will the worst happen or the good? I know I've disappointed my boyfriend, David Lee Rivera, tagged, but I'm trying my best right now. Other people want to look at me funny and call me names. Well, you know, one thing you can do is look in the mirror and ask if bullying is going to hurt me. Stop holding my actions against me and let me deal with it, and don't judge me based on what you read. Ya boy Jesse Velez. This is an awful apology, and really, dude, tagging your fiancé in your post where you say people shouldn't judge you for wanting to molest a kid only makes his Hansen vs. Predator appearance funnier, to be honest. What the hell kind of a defense is telling people they're not allowed to take your own actions against you? What can we judge people on if not their own actions? Velez repeatedly denied sending the explicit photo and insisted that Hansen check his browsing history. He claimed that during his conversation with the decoy, he didn't mention anything about engaging in sexual activities because it wasn't his nature. Hansen questioned Velez about his comfort level if he were the parents of a child meeting an adult, to which Velez responded by mentioning his 16-year-old friend and expressing comfort with such a situation. Hansen pointed out the significant age gap between them. Velez argued that he had friends ranging from 16 to 30 years old, and they would hang out without involving drugs. He vehemently denied being a pedophile and emphasized that he wasn't actively seeking out 10 or 13-year-old children. Velez claimed that he had second thoughts about entering the house and felt unsafe due to an incident where one of his friends was set up and assaulted at another person's house. At this point, Hansen revealed that he was conducting an investigation, leading to the appearance of cameras and Velez attempting to cover his face with his hand. Despite the evidence, Velez maintained his innocence, insisting that he wasn't someone who sought out young children online. He requested not to have his face shown on camera, citing extreme awkwardness and embarrassment. This is funny because he makes it out to Chris Hansen that he has a large friend group and everyone just hangs out and conversates, as he puts it. But later on, he ends up crying to the police about how he doesn't have any friends and he has to use Grindr to find anyone to hang out with. These things are pretty opposite, but they're potentially both lies. Well, I'm surprised that not more of these critters killed themselves. We don't see/hear much about the impact it all has on their lives. These things just do not go away in the age of the internet. But this guy will be fine. It's not exactly that he has some great career going. Do they care if you're a former sex offender to flip burgers? Probably not. And they don't have to pay them much, since their job options are limited. You're manipulating his words. He never said that. And he actually seems to be genuinely remorseful about what happened. I don't think he deserved to be charged and exploited. Are you really Jesse's man? Or is this Jesse? You know, I've got the chat log right here, so you might as well go ahead and tell me. He probably works at Subway. He was trying to eat fresh. Actually, believe it or not, it was Jersey Mike's. Thanks for this actual experience, actually. I hated this decoy so much. He almost ruined the operation. Okay, that isn't true. Chris Hansen's interviews aren't used against them. I mean, they're not Mirandized or anything. They have all the evidence they need in the chat log, and most of the guys waived their right to an attorney for some reason. Whenever I hear someone use the word conversate IRL, I immediately see this pedo's face on their head. Well, let's go find out about the consequences he faced. On April 27, 2016, Velez entered a guilty plea for one felony count of attempted risk of injury to a minor, and one felony count of enticing a minor by computer. He was subsequently sentenced on July 1, 2016 to a 5-year prison term, with 2 years to be served and the remaining 3 years suspended. Additionally, he received 10 years of probation and a requirement to register as a sex offender for 10 years. Velez was released from prison on April 13, 2018. However, he faced a second arrest in October 2019 for violating his probation. Despite being found not guilty, he was ordered to continue his probation. Velez encountered further legal trouble when he violated his probation again, leading to a conviction in September 2020. Oh man, first Vincent Ambrosio, then John Dupuy, and now Jesse Velez. They all ended up violating their probation. I'm starting to think these guys aren't Mensa members. Chris has nothing but a dick pic, which got us the golden ew, but man, if he was able to rattle off this grotesque chat, Velez would have sweat like Jokic or Timmons. Notice with Chris Hansen he claimed he had friends of all ages, from like 16 to 30, and then with the cops he says he has no friends. Do you live by yourself? No, I live with my 3 dogs. That comment is enough to lock him up. What's sad is a motion of discovery could get this guy free. The court would have to prove the kid is 13 and not some 18-year-old actor. Not defending his pedo behavior by any means, just saying. This guy doesn't pass as 13. Yeah, this isn't true either. I think a lot of people aren't aware that the chat log is the actual crime. Showing up just makes it more obviously real. Do you have any ID on you? I came here to prey on a boy, not a man. Gotta say, I really hate the people who bring politics into everything they watch. Catching predators should not be used as a chance to show up and say they must be in the political party that you're against. Shame on you guys for arresting an innocent man for meeting a man his own age. Larry King could have played a more convincing 13-year-old than this dude. Jesse's almost lucky that the decoy is funnier than he is. Most of the comments aren't about the predator for once. Anyway, I think that's about all the time I have for you today. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you liked the video, please give it a like. If you have something to say about the predator, the decoy, or your mommy and daddy, let me hear it in the comments. I'll be reading them when the video's new. If you're new here, consider subscribing for more predators and also Reddit content. Big thanks finally to my amazing patrons who help me by supporting me more directly over on Patreon. It's a huge help. I'll be back probably to do something for Easter, but I'm not sure what yet. Have a great day, everyone. And look at this video. My dad made this.